But a Florida woman is apparently in police custody because she was shaving her privates when her car slammed into another car. Yes, she was the driver and she was shaving her privates. But what that's not the weirdest part of this. The weirdest part of it is she had asked her ex-husband who was in the car to take the wheel. Apparently, she's doing this in the front seat. I mean, why wasn't she in the passenger the whole time? But she was asking her husband to do this. And why the urgency? Why did she have to shave him while driving? Because they were going to her boyfriend's house. I'm sorry. I like to look at other people when I drive, just to see who's next to me. Make sure there's no bad guys or anything like that. I just don't know what I would have done if I saw this. Another horrible thing is, I guess, the evidence, the razor is missing. So I that could be very dangerous. I'm not sure where it went after the accident. It was obviously propelled somewhere. So, guys, that's dangerous. But shaving your private parts while driving is dangerous for a variety of reasons. OK, and I'm actually going to talk a little bit about shaving and waxing and, just the absolute implicit dangers in that. But before we go into that, let me just talk really quickly about car accidents, okay? There's 6 major causes of automobile accidents, all right? The first one, a lot of us know, are distracted drivers, all right? They have found that most of the accidents occur because people are distracted. They're either distracted by driver fatigue, which is 12% of the cases, looking at scenery. I doubt she had much scenery to look at, but this does count as a distraction. Other passengers in the car are a distraction, like your kids, 9% of the time. Adjusting the radio or CD player, that's a biggie. I love the cars where you have the buttons on the steering wheel to change your music. When there's a crappy song on the radio, I need to either shut it off or change the station. So it's nice to have the controls on your steering wheel. And then some people read the newspaper, books, maps, or other documents. They say less than 2% of the case, this is on the rise because people are texting or they're checking their Facebook. Yep, they are checking their Facebook while they are driving. Horrible, horrible, horrible. It's a distraction, okay? The number 2 cause of automobile crashes is fatigue. Now, I don't know if this woman fatigued while she was shaving her privates, and that's what happened. I'm going to list this one under the distraction drive category, but driver fatigue causes at least 100,000 accidents a day. Now, I can't understand, because after I shave my legs, I need a nap. I mean, that is a really trying and difficult procedure for me to get through, just to shave the legs. And I can see that that's exhausting. But I remember when I did my 36-hour shifts, in training, 38-hour shifts, 40-hour shifts, and, driving home, I would fall asleep at the wheel. Absolutely. And a lot of us that are shift workers, whose circadian rhythm is off, and we're trying to drive home at 5, 6 in the morning, that messes us up. So driver fatigue is a biggie. So be careful out there. Now, what they recommend, especially for those of us taking long trips, because a lot of us get driver fatigue, not just from coming home from a shift, but doing long trips, is they recommend to take a break from driving at least every 2 hours. Now, I know a lot of you don't want to do this. You don't want to do this. You want to make the drive and go as quickly as possible, but you got to take a break every 2 hours. You need to get a good night's sleep before the trip. Share the driving. Have somebody in there that you could share the driving, but make sure they don't fall asleep. Like, what was that on Vacation, where Chevy Chase fell asleep while everybody else was asleep? Make sure it's somebody that won't fall asleep. Make sure they don't have sleep apnea, by the way. Don't have a sleep apnea patient or a narcolepsy patient do the driving. That's important too. Again, avoid long drives after work. Try to move where you work close. Avoid drinking before driving. When you get drowsy, pull over. It's okay. You could pull over and you could take a little nap. That's fine. And of course, you got to watch your medication. A lot of medications make you sleepy. One medication that a lot of people don't realize that makes them sleepy are their beta blockers. Those of you on atenolol, labetalol, propanolol, those things can make you a little tired. For those of you taking your blood pressure medicines, I recommend those at night. Another cause of car crashes is, of course, drunk driving, speeding, aggressive driving. Now, what is aggressive driving? Now, I've aggressively driven, all right? Because some people make me mad, but it's not nice, and you could actually get arrested for this, all right? Aggressive tailgating. Flashing lights at other drivers because you're irritated at them. Sounds like somebody I know. Flashing the lights at people. Like putting your brights on so the brights get reflected in the rearview mirror. I know you guys do that. I know you do that. Aggressive or rude gestures. Guilty. Deliberately preventing another driver from moving their vehicle. Okay, you know what? I'm going to admit to this one, guys. Deliberately preventing another driver from moving their vehicle. I tell you why, all right? And I do this in California a lot. You want to know what gets me? You're driving in, you're getting onto an on-ramp on a freeway, and in California, there's a lot of traffic. And there's 2 lanes, and the right lane is supposed to merge into the left. So most of the cars are sitting there in the left lane. But cheaters and cutters are driving into that right lane to take cuts, and they do because you're sitting in line in the left. So they keep driving in that right lane, and then they take cuts, and you're sitting there at a standstill. So what I do is I move my car in between both lanes to block those people in the right from getting there, so they got to get back in the back of the line. So yes, I've done that. Guilty as charged. Another form of aggressive driving is verbal abuse. All right, that's when you roll down the window and you cuss at them. Physical assaults, where, you throw your can of Coke or your McDonald's bag, right, at the driver next to you. That's not good. Disregarding traffic signals, changing lanes in an unsafe manner, failure to yield. All right, all this stuff. And, of course, shaving your privates while driving. I really don't understand this woman. And, of course, weather is the 6th most common cause of automobile crashes. For those of us in the desert, one of those... what are those round things that roll into the, in the desert? What are those called, Jim? Those round twiggy things that come into the street that roll. It's not sagebrush. It's
the tumbleweed.
Tumbleweed. Yeah, those tumbleweeds. Those are pretty distracting, huh? I always almost hit those.
Especially when they're blowing at about 40 miles per hour and it hits your car.
Yeah. I think those are pretty dangerous. We don't have to be living in snow. So tumbleweed. Be careful of tumbleweed. Okay.